Hello, and welcome to Talking About podcast where we talk about anything and everything. Welcome to season 4. This is a huge kind of landmark for what this podcast is. For those of you who do not know, that every year is a new season, so I don't go by season episodes or counts or time or whatever. I simply go by the calendar year. So that means I started this podcast back in 2022 when I was a sophomore in high school, which is crazy because I would be a sophomore in college at this point if I continued to attend. I'm not going to dive into college right now or anything like that, but we're going to continue with the topic of the future and what this podcast is going to look like. Every season I do this thing where I kind of look into what this podcast is and what this podcast means. So I'm trying to work on journaling this year. It's one of my things for this year. And I have, for you guys who are watching the videos, I have my journal up just with my goals, some ideas, and just for a few other things. So going into this, Happy New Year's as well. It is 2026, which is amazing. Very grateful that I get to live another year and that I have family and friends who have made the year 2025 amazing and will hopefully continue to make 2026 amazing as well. We'll say that 2025 did not end on a great note, and today's been a good day, so we're not going to say it started on a bad note for this current year, but continuing. I need to stop rambling, but I have a few goals. I only have 5 written down. These were just easier ones that are easy to say or easy to come up with, really. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm kind of going to depth, but I've always said that this podcast will always be for myself, which it will be. That's why there's no cuts, no editing, no random bits and bobs in it, because when I come back in 5 years and I want to listen to where I'm at currently in my headspace and what I'm talking about, what I find relevant in my life, I want to be kind of raw and unfiltered in that sentence, or in that sense, not sentence. So yeah, so some of these goals are a little bit artificial for that, but the more I post and the more vulnerable I get, the more and more people who are like, I listen, it like helps me, and like I understand where you're coming from, and it's nice to know that somebody else is out there and validating it or experiencing it. I'm not going to validate some of the things I do because it wouldn't be great. But 5 goals that I have written down: 1,000 listeners by the end of the year. We are currently sitting at, I think last time I checked, which was about when the Spotify Wrapped came out, so earlier in December, we were sitting about 60. That's pretty good. I don't think I'll be able to grow to 1,000, but I think it's a great ambitious goal. It just kind of pushes me to put this out there more because I've always been kind of embarrassed at the fact that I do this, but I think it's good to be out there, and I think it's good to show that vulnerability and show that not everyone is going through life at the same pace, or not everybody is going through what you think they're going through, if that makes sense. Continuing that, weekly episodes on Thursdays. This year has started on a Thursday, January 1st, so with that I try to do episodes weekly. Doesn't always happen. There's a lot of the times where I miss 4 months of the year, and then I come back and I'm like, oh my god, I have a podcast, so episodes weekly on Thursdays because that's when the year started, so just every consecutive week is going to be an even amount of Thursdays from the knowledge in my brain that I have. But yeah, 3rd goal is to have guests. I think hopefully in the next episode or the next couple of episodes that will be coming out, we will be doing guests, and of course there's gonna be a few limitations on that, but yeah, I think it'll be really cool to have some people on. It'll allow me to actually have conversations and delve into certain topics, and yeah, I have a few people in mind that I would really love to talk to and get to know in a podcast episode for other people to understand where people surrounding my age will think and come from, if that makes sense. Goal number 4, full honesty and passion. I always had that goal for this podcast because I never, like I said, I never intended for this to really be listened to outside of myself and for it to not be for anybody else. So I just want to be completely clear. And I think I really started to hit that vulnerability aspect towards the end of season 3, sorry. And I think in the last like 10 episodes I uploaded, I cried in like 6 of them. I'm a crier, and I hate that I'm a crier. But I think that just kind of hits into the vulnerability aspect. Goal number 5 is just a video with every episode, whether it's a TikTok, a reel, YouTube short, whatever, YouTube video. Just having a video to also go along with the episode I think is very important because it allows me to also look back and see how I am physically. Because like right now, pale as crap, sunburnt. Played golf this morning and it was actually really sunny and it felt amazing, but I'm a little sunburned, which is unfortunate because it's January, and what do you mean my white ass is getting sunburned in January? But yeah, along with this little journaling with goals and just ideas and everything, I just have idea episodes. So for the first episode that I want to bring in a guest, I think that I want to talk about God and the relationship with God and how that applies in their daily life, if that makes sense. So I think that would be very important to talk about with another person because I sit here and I kind of validate my own thoughts on God, and I need somebody to talk to me about it and for me to understand where other people come from, because I sit here and sometimes I forget that like other people don't believe in God, or other people heavily believe in God and swear by it, you know, like I think that's where things kind of get missed in communication, and when people are like, well, I'm an atheist because X, Y, and Z, you know, like, so I don't want to get into that tangent right now, but yeah, with a few goals of just podcasts, I've talked about this multiple times before where I don't believe in like yearly resolutions, because I think it's too much pressure on yourself to attempt to have success. You know, like so many people are out there like, oh well, I want to lose 50 pounds this year, and there's going to be gyms are going to be packed for the next month and a half, and then slowly people begin to drop out because they don't feel confident, they don't have that motivation anymore. And January is honestly a really stressful time of year because it's right after Christmas. It's a really big spending month. It's a really big month of consumerism, and just financial stress on top of like deadlines and budgets and everything in the corporate world becomes a lot of people. And I think that's why so many people tend to like not fail. Hold on. Interesting. Oh, I had the wrong charger plugged into my system, so that's what that was. But yeah, I think it's just a very stressful time of year, so a lot of people end up failing those goals, and then they are like, well, it's February 27th, what's the point of me even trying anymore? This year's already a bust, you know? So I try not to put that much pressure on myself. I try to be realistic with my goals a lot of the time, and sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it does. But continuing with that, a few goals that I have for myself that I've kind of thought about is that I want this year to be a year of creation. I want this year to be a year where I create, whether I'm doing something artistic, if I'm doing something hobbyist, if I'm testing out a new recipe, if I'm baking, if I'm doing something. I want to do something in my life that is creation and that creates a better version of myself, if that makes sense. So like today, today's my day off, although I did work a little bit. Today's my day off from work, and I played golf with my roommate and another coworker from work, and I had a fucking blast. I scored a 49, I believe, on 9 holes, or 48, one of the two. I scored in the 40s, in the mid-40s, or not mid-40s, the very end of the 40s, if that makes sense. And I had a wonderful time. I made a lot of jokes. We talked, we laughed, played okay. A few holes that did pretty bad, but I ended up doing really good on a few holes, and it really like made me realize that like that life is so much more than just like, oh, I need to drink a gallon of water, I need to go work out, you know, I'm doing 75 hard, which I'm great. I'm very happy if you're able to do that, and you're very happy to have the discipline to do that. I'm just not that kind of person. I'll be honest. I've never been one that always sticks out things. So, but continuing with that 2026 is the year of creation. That is also in regards to friendships, relationships, and a relationship with God, of course. And so I'm gonna be making friends. I'm gonna be furthering my relationship with my friends. I will not like be actively looking to like be like, oh, I want a partner. No, that's not the kind of relationship I'm talking about. I'm talking about a connection on an emotional level with other people. If that makes sense. So, with that, I want to also be sending a gratitude text every day. I think that's very important. I think it's very important that you have people in your life that you have gratitude towards, you know, whether you know that person or don't. Like, just being happy that somebody else is alive and well, and you get to exist with them, and you know, have a relationship with them, and you get to, you know, just be around them. A couple other goals I have. I want to pay off my car this year, and I've had my car for 10 months now, or I guess 11 months. I bought it in February 2025, and I still owe I think about 10K on it. So I've knocked out a decent chunk of the loan, but I want to be able to pay the rest of this off ASAP because I want to buy a house. This is the year that I turned 21, which is terrifying to me. That will be a whole nother episode, but I am terrified to turn 21. I'm just terrified to grow older because I feel like I'm behind, and I think that's a very common feeling with other people in their 20s, that your entire 20s is just kind of like feeling like you're behind because you see that 1%, that 2% of people who achieve so much in comparison to you. So, yeah. But the goal is to buy a house before I turn 21. So I've got 10 months and 20 days to do so. I better come up with a lot of money quick. With that, for the month of January, I'm not sure if I want to continue it into the rest of my year. I'm doing what is called a quote-unquote dry January. Although I'm not an alcoholic and I don't drink, so it's not alcohol. It is drinks that I buy from places. So I got into a really bad habit of going to Dunkin', going to Burger King, McDonald's, Cookout, Chick-fil-A, wherever, and getting either a coffee or a soda or some kind of drink, lemonade, whatever. And that's a very bad habit to get into, because not to mention, like, it wouldn't have been a bad habit to get into 3 years ago when McDonald's sodas were $1. You know, like, I could spare $7 a week on drinks, you know, like, it's fine. But Dunkin', what I get is a medium berry burst energy. And recently I've had to not do that because I recently gave up not caffeinated drinks, but energy drinks and drinks with unnatural, like where caffeine comes from a unnatural source. So anything except for coffee, green tea, black tea, you know. So I've had to switch it up, but it's like I think I get the golden hour refresher now, and it's like $4. And I'm like, $4 for 5 days a week that I work near one, and I'm like, that's $20 a week. I can suffice $7 a week. I cannot suffice $20 a week. Like, I could, but I don't want that on my credit card. Like, what? So yeah, that's something I'm doing for January. I'm just trying to cut down on that expense. With that, not eating out. I allow myself to eat out once a week. It usually happens on Thursdays because of the days I have off. And like today, I ate out. I had Chick-fil-A. I had it with my roommate and my coworker because we play golf, and we got done with golf around, I think, 12:30 it was, and we went to Chick-fil-A and we went to Target and got a few things that we needed to pick up. It was a pretty productive morning, midday thing, but like I said, with that dry January, no eating out except for that one time a week, and keeping that eating out to under $50 for 2 people, which is kind of hard. But thankfully, surrounding where I live, there's a lot of places that do happy hours for lunch, which are like, there's a lot of buffets or all you can eat around, so I usually try to get my money's worth. So continuing with that, I don't know if I'm going to continue that throughout the entire year, because it's kind of a hard thing to continue through a year, you know, like I want to go celebrate with other people and stuff, but I think just doing it for this first month will really clock my shit and make me realize how much I fucking drink. I also just need to drink more water. Like, I've been so dehydrated lately, and that's just another thing of creation. I want to create better habits for myself, and I want to create a system where I reach for water and not something else, or I feel like I need to go somewhere, you know, to get my day started. Like today, like prime example this morning. It was New Year's last night, so I stayed up till midnight. I had, I think, sparkling cranberry juice for my drink, and I watched the ball drop on TV, as one does. New York ball drop, of course. And I had a headache last night, and I didn't think I was gonna make it to midnight because I had a headache. I was tired. I've been tired. I've been getting really bad sleep lately, but I made it to midnight. I did my thing, went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, got ready for bed. You know, just your typical thing. Go to bed probably around 12:31, and golf was at 10 this morning. Usually I play golf at 7, but there was supposed to be a frost delay, so I was like, okay, we'll schedule it for 10 so I don't like get up early when I could have slept in. So golf's at 10, get up, wake up at 8, right? I had my alarm going off from 6 on, but I didn't wake up to my alarm because I'm a lazy fuck. But I get up at 8 o'clock, have a raging headache, and I just immediately clocked it that it was from dehydration. Happens to me every time I don't drink water. I get really dehydrated, I get really shaky, I start to have like a lot of saliva build up. So I just woke up, my eyeballs were dry, and I was like, oh damn, my lips were chapped, just nope. And at first I was like, dude, I really don't want to go play golf. Like, I just want to lay here in bed, I want to do nothing, I just want a lazy ass day, I just want to like feel pity for myself because I didn't take care of myself, if that makes sense. And I was like, no, I gotta get up, I gotta play golf, I gotta show up. So I get up, run into problem number 2, where the dog is sick right now, and she had pooped on my sweatpants in my bedroom, and I was like, oh great, okay. So this was a couple days ago, and I didn't switch over laundry because I forgot to, so I didn't have sweatpants to wear under my jeans, which is what I usually do because it's freezing. So I was like, damn, now I'm gonna be cold, like my day is just gonna be terrible. Put on my socks, you know, get ready, leave, and I get in the car and I think to myself, I'm like, damn, my day's going bad, and I'm gonna go play golf, and I really don't want to ruin it for these other people. So I'm like, okay, let me just turn on some tunes. And that's what I do. I had my water in the car with me. I took a big old glug of that. Glug is such a weird word, but I took a big old drink of my water bottle before I even left the parking lot. I turned on some music. I don't remember what song I listened to, but it was cold this morning. It was 40 degrees when I left the house, and I turned on the heater, you know, get the heater warming up. As soon as I get on the highway, you know, I think to myself, I'm like, fuck it, I'm really vibing. I don't know what I'm listening to. I think it was Love You Not or something, and then I was listening to Tyler, the Creator, Frank Ocean, you know, Mac Miller. Oh, I started the day off with Mac Miller, Missed Calls by Mac Miller. I remember, because I was like, this is the first song 2026 I'm gonna listen to. Gotta set the vibe. So I listened to Mac Miller, and as soon as I hit the highway, and I'm like, I think to myself, I'm like, fuck it, like, what am I doing? And I roll down both my windows, my front and my passenger window, and I crank the heat because it's freezing cold, and I turn on my music, and I'm just screaming my music all the way to work, which is where with the golf course, you know. And it's about a 25-minute drive. I get to the course, my roommate ended up beating me there because she had a flat tire, so she needed to get it checked out by the guy we're playing with, because he has a lift. Well, she didn't have a flat tire, she just had a nail on her tire, but continuing. And I pull up next to her, and I park next to her, and she just, like, looks over at me like I'm this crazy son of a bitch, and I'm sitting there, and I'm rocking out. I think I'm rocking out to, like, I think it was, like, Benson Boone. I hate to admit, like, Moonbeam Ice Cream, I think. It's a really good screaming song, I will say. And I'm just screaming this song in this parking lot at a golf course. And my windows are down, and I'm freezing, my face is bright red because it's so cold, you know? And in that moment, my headache went away. Like, I didn't have a headache till the rest of the day, till about an hour ago, when I sat down and realized I hadn't really drank any water. But, I was just like, you know what? In that moment, I kind of decided to have a good day. And I think that's how I want this year to go. Like, even if something's going shitty, I want to sit there and be like, let me just turn on my music, let me just do this, and it'll set the day straight, you know? And it really set my day straight. And now I'm sitting here at, what time is it? 8 o'clock. It feels like midnight. I am so tired. But I'm sitting here at 8 o'clock recording a podcast episode, and I feel really good. And I feel really good about going in tomorrow. I work tomorrow at like 7, so I'm like, okay, feeling really good. I got my schedule out for next week, so I know what I'm looking forward to. And I'm like, I cleaned up my area. I have a bowl of soup behind me because I'm not feeling great, like I said, but completely cleaned my desk, wiped everything down, deep cleaned it, moved all my cookbooks, you know, I did a bunch of stuff, and I'm doing this journaling thing, and I'm about to read the Bible and listen to some music, you know, just doing my thing. And it just makes me realize that, like, how that, like, 10 minutes of just cranking it out made me realize, like, how much of that affected my day. And it kind of just set my day, you know, it just made me feel good. And I think that's something that I really want to bring into this year, and I think I want to dance. I want to dance more in my life. I want to, you know, and I'm not talking about, like, buying, like, Just Dance or anything. I'm just talking about, like, dancing my normal life. Like, I danced through golf. I ate shit at golf twice today. Like, literally tripped over the tee box marker, like, really badly. It really hurt, too. But I was happy. I danced. I made jokes, you know, like, and I think that just dancing in general and just bopping it out is so important and so key to having a good day, if that makes sense. Yeah. This is a really long episode. I didn't mean for this to be this long, and I started talking. And I get really excited because today was a good day and I want to talk about it. So I need to go do dishes. I need to read the Bible, and I need to tell somebody I'm grateful for them today. And I'm gonna go do that because I want to end my day as good as I started it. So, season 4. This is the year. This is a year that I want to bring creation to my life. We're just gonna call it the year of creation, you know? This is the year that I want to be thankful, grateful, and I really want to show that I'm thankful and grateful. I'm really bad at showing that I'm grateful. It's a year that I want to stay on top of things and get myself out of that hole, because if you've been listening, I have been not in a great headspace. And today could just be a really great day in a sea of bad days, but we're gonna see and we're gonna hope it's better. So, tune in next week, because weekly episodes. Yeah. I appreciate you listening. Tell somebody you're grateful for them. Tell somebody you love them. Be a good person. And thank you for listening to the episode. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.